episode number 52 of Road Noise, Life 1 Mile at a Time. Christmas on a Budget, how to do Christmas without breaking the bank. Hello and welcome again to another episode of Road Noise, Life 1 Mile at a Time. I'm your host, Michael Blackston. If you hear a rumble under the sound of my voice, that's just the noise from the road, hence the reason I call it road noise. And you're riding alongside me in the passenger seat on my commute this morning to Leeds, Alabama, just outside of Birmingham. It's a new customer of mine, kind of a branch out from another customer, and wants me to come, and I'm going to be doing this stone actually at the gentleman's house. And so I'm on my way there. I'm actually not very far from there as I get this started, so I don't have a whole lot of time to get this episode done, 30 or 40 minutes max, really, according to the GPS on my phone. But it's October, and I decided that I'm going to get started with my Christmas early. And the more I've been thinking about that lately, the more I've thought, I want to do Christmas on a budget this year, not because I'm broke, but because you can spend so much money unnecessarily around the Christmas season, and I've realized that most of the time that's happening because I am not being wise about it. I'm waiting until the last minute to start doing my Christmas shopping, and then I'm running around, and I've got this list, and I can't remember who all's on it, and I'm just kind of scrambling to get the job done, to get everybody bought for, and then by the time that's over, Christmas has already passed me by, and I haven't enjoyed it. And Christmas is my favorite time of the year. I don't want to just have a couple of weeks of holiday cheer and the craziness of it, and then it's gone. I like to stretch it out. I like to really enjoy the Christmas season. As a Christian, I like to celebrate the reason for the season. To be cliche there, the reason is obviously the birth of Jesus Christ on this earth. But I like the other stuff too. I like the Santa Claus, and I like the candles and the parades and all of the stuff that go along with the Christmas season. I really enjoy it because it's the one time of the year where everybody seems to be a lot happier most of the time. I know there are exceptions to that rule, but it's just a happy season, and I love it. I love everything about it. The smells, the sights, the sounds. And so I want to draw it out. And so this year I decided I'm going to start early enough so that I can enjoy the season. And I've got a couple of strategy items, ways that I want to go about my Christmas season that I've strategized to make it last longer, to make it be more boisterous, to give it more volume as a season. And so I wanted to start, I thought about it, and I said, this might be a little bit early to do Christmas on a budget, but then I said, no, if I'm going to go ahead and start, maybe that's one of the ways to do Christmas on a budget. And so let's go ahead and start now, because it's the last quarter of the year, and before you know it, you're going to blink your eyes in just a few short weeks. Christmas is going to be upon us. So let's do this together and plan ahead. And because I'm a 365 days a year Christmas person anyway, I listen to Christmas music in the summertime. You may not be that way, but I think it's smart to go ahead and get a jump on things. So I decided to title this Christmas on a Budget, or How to Do Christmas Without Breaking the Bank. And I've broken it down into three kind of sections. The middle section I've really only got one bullet point for, because it really doesn't apply to doing Christmas on a budget, but it is the one point I have is a way that can help you with your finances. And so I've broken it down into three sections: giving, receiving, and of course celebrating. So the obvious one, budget-wise, I would think, and let's go ahead and get that one out of the way because it's going to have the most volume to it as a section, is the giving part. That's where it really gets me. And the longer I wait, I find the more money I end up spending, because I'm just kind of in this frantic way and I don't have a plan. I'm just doing things. It's kind of like going to the grocery store hungry. It's the Christmas season. I'm in the giving spirit. I haven't gotten anything done. I want to get it all done at one time, and I end up not paying attention to what I've got, and I just spend. So I've decided to come up with some ways here, or I didn't come up with them, but I researched them and thought about them a lot on what maybe we can do giving-wise to make the budget pan out a lot better and to not spend as much money in the giving part of it. And because I also think that when you put a lot of thought into it, the gift means more. So number one, start early. Like I just said, let's go ahead and start. It's October. Go ahead and start. And if you're listening to this later on, maybe in 2017, 2018, 2019, whenever you're hearing this, no matter what month it is, it's never too early to at least start doing some things to get you prepared. For one thing, go ahead and make your list. People may come in and go out of your lives during that time before Christmas, and you can alter the list if you need to during that time, but start a master list of everybody that you're going to need to give a gift to, or that you want to give a gift to, so that you have that in front of you. I've already made my list, and I've already put down a few things that I really want to do. Like my stepdad, I always know he wants gift cards. That's what he's asked for, and we're going to talk about that in the receiving part in just a minute. He knows that we're going to give gifts. He knows he's hard to buy for. He knows we want to do what he wants to do, but he's a very frugal type guy. He's a money and numbers guy. He likes Walmart gift cards. And everybody knows to give my stepdad Walmart gift cards, because that's, if you're going to give him something, that's what he appreciates the most. It gives him the most flexibility. So I know ahead of time, I go ahead and put that on the list. I already know. So if you go ahead and make your list, and you go ahead and start writing down some ideas at least of some things you want to give people, it gives you a leg up to know ahead of time. Having a great plan makes things so much easier. So go ahead and start early, start making your list, and as far as I'm concerned, it's early enough or late enough in the season to where I'm not going to run into deadlines and dates running out on gift cards and things like that. People who I'm going to give gift cards to and stuff, I'm going to go ahead and start buying those gift cards now, $20, $25 at a time, because I've got several people that I give gift cards to, and I can knock those out early instead of waiting a week or two before Christmas and I'm buying 5 or 10 $25 gift cards. It makes it so much easier if I start a couple of months in advance doing it once or twice a week and saying this one's done, this one's done, this one's done, because there are certain people in my life that that's what they're going to get. I know they're going to get it, and that's what I'm going to give them, and that's the way it kind of works. And it helps out. It helps out a lot, and it helps my budget because it doesn't wipe everything out all at one time. It spreads it over a length of time. Number two, start thinking about checking out the thrift stores. This is one of my favorite things to do, is go to thrift stores. Not only because I like to increase my Broadway soundtrack collection, it's always the first place I go is the CDs, but thrift stores usually will have an entire shelf or rows of shelves dedicated to Christmas. You can find all kinds of things Christmas related, but not only that, just in general Christmas gifts for people on your list. You can get at thrift stores. You can find some nice, sometimes brand new stuff with tags on them at the thrift store for a fraction of the cost. So just start going to the thrift stores, and I had a great idea when I was doing this. If I wanted, say I want to give somebody something, and I kind of want to theme it, and I don't want to just give somebody a coffee mug, but I would like to give them maybe a grouping of gifts as a theme. I might go to thrift stores and keep my eye out for, say I wanted to give my wife a gift basket of Clemson Tiger memorabilia. Maybe a coffee cup, a t-shirt, or anything that might have Clemson Tigers on it that she could put to use. Maybe I'll get several things all in a bundle over the time. It makes it sort of like a treasure hunt for me, going to the thrift stores and looking for those specific types of items, and then I'll gather 5 or 6 of them up, put them in a gift basket. And you can even get the gift basket at the thrift store. They have baskets and stuff like that all over the place, and so for almost no money at all, you have put together this nice gift basket themed for somebody. Something I'm thinking about doing for my wife, stuff like that, and I know several people in my family that would be something awesome to do for them. And again, you've spent nearly nothing. Thrift stores can be absolutely fantastic places. Another good reason for thrift stores, if you like to buy clothes, you can find wonderful clothes at the thrift store for people. You can find toys for kids. Now, I do know that sometimes older kids, like my kid is 12 years old, my oldest, but my daughter is 3.5, and she doesn't have any clue about thrift stores. She doesn't have any concept of used or new. All she knows is that it was a gift that was given to her. Santa brought her something. And so I'm planning on using the thrift stores this year to find some good, nice stuff to give her that's gently used, because it'll go in the toy box, and a couple of months later she'll have forgotten about it anyway. And so young kids especially, toys are a great, thrift stores are a great way to get toys for them. The next on the giving list is just consider making it yourself. First of all, if you're a creative type person like I am, and if you're a Christmas loving person like I am, that's something that can really start getting you into the spirit, is by making some of the gifts that you're going to give that are Christmas themed. For instance, ornaments. People love to get Christmas ornaments, especially if you have some skill and you can make it yourself. Most people I know in the Christmas season decorate their tree, and most people like to get Christmas ornaments to help decorate their tree and their keepsakes and heirlooms. Things like that. Anything that you can think of that you have a skill to make, people love to get stuff like that from you. For me, I do a lot of art for people around the Christmas season because people like to get art, and people ask me for it all the time, but I don't always have time to give it. So when I do give it as a gift, it's really appreciated. And so think about making something yourself, because when you can do that, again, the materials may cost you a little something, but it's not going to cost you anything as much as going out to the store, going to Walmart or Target or wherever you're going to go, and especially some of these really expensive, pricey places. Make it yourself at a fraction of the cost, or even for zero, and the thought and time that you put into it is so much more precious to the people you're giving the gift to than if you bought it. Next, if you do need to buy some stuff and you're strapped for cash and you need to make some cash up, look all over your house and see what you can sell. This early, you could get on eBay and list some things and maybe get a little bit of Christmas cash just by selling some stuff that's laying around your house that you're not using. Not only that, if you don't want to go that way and you want the money instantly as soon as you put it out there, you can go to places that will trade stuff in. I know there's a store franchise near where I live, and I'm not sure wherever you live if you have this anywhere near, but there's a place called Second and Charles. Second and Charles sells used books. They sell new books too, but they sell used books, and they'll take your books in on trade. They'll give you store credit for it that you can spend anywhere in the store. And they've got merchandise and all kinds of really cool stuff. It's kind of a hip place to go. They've got new vinyl, they've got old vinyl, they've got CDs, they've got comic books, memorabilia, all kinds of stuff, and any book you can want. They're usually a very large store. Again, you can take in your books, trade them in. I don't know if they take collectibles or stuff like that. It's something you could call if you've got a Second and Charles or even a place like that nearby. Call them up, see what they take, see if they take things in trade for store credit, and then you can turn around and use that in the store to purchase some of your Christmas gifts. So that may be something that I may also consider doing this year, because I have several books that I have kind of loaded up in the basement that I'm not going to give away, that I may trade in for store credit at Second and Charles and see if I can't do something and buy a couple of Christmas gifts that way. And then lastly, your time is more valuable. It's the most precious resource of any other resource that you have. Your time. One of the things that I struggle with at Christmas time is knowing what to get my 89-year-old grandmother. I'm not sure whether she's 88 or 89, but she's right up there in her high 80s. And what do you give her? Everybody gives her something. So by the time her daughters and all the other grandchildren are giving her lotions and shampoos and things that old ladies use, there's really it's really too much for her to get that same stuff over and over again. And she has everything she could possibly need, and I don't know what to get her most of the time. Well, you know what she would like more than anything, and she always tells me every year when everybody's talking about, and we're trying to figure out what we're going to get for each other, because my mom's side of the family with my grandmother that I'm talking about right now, we all draw names on Thanksgiving Day for who we're going to get for. So everybody gets something and we don't get left out, and we have like a $20, $25 limit and all that stuff. You've probably got something like that similar in your family. And Grandma always goes, don't get me anything. She always tells me, don't get me anything. I don't need anything, and I would rather, I know you got 2 kids. I would rather know you're spending your money on them. Don't get me anything. Well, yeah, that's well and good, but it feels awful when everyone else gives her something and I don't. So I've been thinking, you know what Grandma really desires from me? Because I am always on the go. I am always busy doing something. Usually it's, hey, Grandma, I love you, a hug, a kiss, and bye-bye. My time. Minutes, hours, a couple of hours of my time on a Saturday afternoon going and spending time with my grandma when nobody else is there and she's lonely, and just talking to her and loving on her and listening to her stories. In fact, spending that time with her is more of a gift for me than it is for her, because I get this rich history from my family, these wonderful stories, and this time with a woman who doesn't have much time left on the earth comparatively. And so I'm going to wish I'd taken that time. So if you don't have anything else to give, don't underestimate the power of the gift of your time as a gift at Christmas time. And that's the last way that I'm going to mention. So I'll backtrack on those and mention them all again. You can start early by making a list and spread out that budget to kind of help you spread it out during the time that you've got between now and Christmas, to make it a lot easier on yourself than doing everything at the last minute and hitting that paycheck, bam, 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 one at a time, or all at the same time. Also, use thrift stores to your advantage. You can find something for everybody at the thrift store. You just got to take a little time and do it, and make it a game. Make it an adventure. Make it yourself. Put a little creativity to it. And I put this in parentheses, but I didn't mention it earlier. When you make something for yourself, also add a little note from your heart in there, maybe a little letter or something. It doesn't take very long. Just write a little letter in there on a card or on some paper and put it in with the thing you've made to tell them how much you appreciate them, what they've done for you, that you acknowledge it and you thank them, and how much you love them. That goes a long way. I have actually given letters, and that's all, for gifts for people before, and when I had no money at Christmas time. And when I did those things, I always got back from them that it was one of the most cherished gifts they got that year, because it was from the heart. And we like to receive things, and everybody likes to open a box with a bow, and I like to give. I'm not as much of a receiver as I am a giver. I like to be able to give. I like to see the light in faces when I give something to somebody that they can use or that they really enjoy or appreciate. You like to have something under the tree. But the truth is, the most important and the most appreciated gifts we get and that we can give are what come from the heart. So if you're going to be making something for yourself, maybe add a little note there too. Take a little extra time and add that in there, and it will make it all the better. You can sell or trade things that you already have to get credits or something in return, and also your time, which is absolutely precious and valuable, and the most amazing and important and valuable resource that you have. So now let's move on to receiving. And I've only got one bullet point in receiving, and that is ask for gift cards. Because receiving on a budget, that really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So the only point I could think about was asking for gift cards. Now, I'm not telling you to be tacky. Don't go around saying, hey, if you're going to get me anything, give me a gift card. Hey, everybody, I want gift cards for Christmas. Don't be tacky about it or rude. But in my family, when we do the drawing of names, once everybody's got your name, we kind of go around. You always get the meeting with the person who they've drawn your name, and you always go find the person that you've drawn their name. And you say, what would you like? Is there anything specific that you have in mind that you would really like me to get for you? And they'll ask me that. Take that opportunity, if you're having a hard time money-wise, to get to make sure you get something that is efficient and usable. Ask for gift cards. You can ask for a Walmart gift card like my stepdad does. He uses that because it helps him get through the Christmas season, or right after the Christmas season when he spent so much money. He uses those gift cards for things at Walmart that he needs, like groceries and things like that, and it really helps him out. It is a gift to him because it helps him get through the rest of the holiday season and after Christmas and all that hubbub. Plus my mom's birthday is January the 9th. He's got to spend on that as well. And they're not hurting for money, but it helps. It kind of gives a little relief there, and it's very durable. You can use the Walmart gift card for just about anything. And so ask for gift cards. My wife and I love to go see movies, but we don't go see a lot of movies because it's so expensive. And when we go see movies, a lot of times we have to take our 2 children. When you're taking 4 people and you're getting snacks and all that, you can easily spend between $50 and $100 just to go see one movie. So we always tell people when they do come and ask, what would you like? We always ask for movie gift cards. Now me, I've got some other plans coming up later in the year, hopefully to finally get started with a podcast, maybe even 2 other ones. And so I've got some equipment and stuff that I'd like to buy. So I'm going to be asking for money cards and things like that when people ask me, so that I can apply that towards things that I need. Like I would like to get a better microphone, maybe a couple of microphones for interviews and stuff that I'm wanting to do. And so that may be the way I go, but it will help me in the long run with my financial goals by asking for gift cards when it's appropriate to ask for them. And lastly, of course, the holidays aren't the holidays without celebrating. We don't want to give and receive and that just be all. We want to celebrate it. Well, again, your time. I'm going to put that at the top again, because nothing creates joy and peace and harmony in your heart like spending time with your family and friends, and just making sure that you stop and pause through all the craziness of the holiday season and enjoy it. Last year did not happen for me. And in fact, I think if you go back and listen to the episodes right after Christmas last year, I think I mentioned that I really kind of missed Christmas last year, even though I was knee-deep in it. My wife and I were directing a Christmas show last year, not a Broadway review, a Christmas review for our local theater. And we started early, and we started directing that, and it went right up till close to Christmas. And by the time we were done with that, we were so exhausted that we hadn't had time to do any of the shopping or any of the preparing or even the time leading up to it, enjoying the season, so that it came, it went, and it was gone. And we promised ourselves that this holiday season we were going to plan it out. So that's my next point. Spread it out. Make a plan. We're actually going to plan some weekend and weeknight family activities that just are about celebrating Christmas. I would like to go and serve in like a soup kitchen or something like that. I would like to serve the less fortunate around me, give the gift of myself and my time to them for Christmas this year. And not only for Christmas, I'd like to start doing that on a regular basis, but at Christmas season, it's a great time to really understand the meaning of giving and celebrating what Christ came to earth to do in the first place. We're wanting to go see some holiday lights. We didn't get a chance to go see any Christmas lights last year. We didn't do any of that. We usually go to a couple of different places that we didn't go last year. Next, Thrift. Again, my wife and I really need some new Christmas decorations to just fill the house with the Christmas spirit. Everywhere you look, it's Christmas, and it's beautiful and wonderful. We don't have a lot of that. A lot of what we have is second-hand, hand-me-down stuff. And I know that when you go to thrift stores, that's what you're getting, but I can theme it now. We've moved into this new beautiful place that I like, I really like it for the Christmas aspect. It's got a Christmassy feel to it, especially in the front room. And we really want to decorate this year and get some updated stuff. Well, I can do that at the thrift stores a lot cheaper than I can by going to Hobby Lobby. And I love Hobby Lobby and all their stuff, but they're kind of expensive when you're buying new stuff. So before you do that, consider going to thrift stores to find out what they have in store for you as far as decorations and stuff like that. And you can also find thrift stores usually have gobs of music in their CDs for Christmas. Christmas CDs from artists of all sorts. The old classics, country, Broadway, whatever you're looking for. You can usually find great Christmas music to have playing around your house during the times that you're just sitting there doing some housework. Why not play some Christmas music around your house, and you can get CDs and stuff like that from the thrift stores. If you use your mind and your creativity, you can use thrift stores to really help your budget. If you can't tell by now, I'm really a fan of going to thrift stores. It's kind of a hobby for me anyway, but the Christmas season is a really good way to utilize them. And then the last thing that I want to mention on celebrating is start a tradition. Start a tradition of your own. Most families have traditions that they have to do, they're obligated to do, and they enjoy doing. But if you're a family and you don't have any traditions of your own, now's the time to start. Figure out something you can do on your own, and it can be on a budget. It can be going out to pick out the family Christmas tree or decorating the tree together. One of the traditions my family has started doing is my wife and I get the kids up on Thanksgiving morning. Thanksgiving morning is when the tree goes up, and it's up all throughout the month of December because we watch the Macy's parade while we decorate the tree, and it's become a tradition. It costs nothing, but it is something that would be missed now, especially when we get to the ornaments my wife personally made for all of the animals that we are caretakers for now and have been caretakers for and maybe have passed on in the past. That's a very bittersweet time, but they all get represented on the tree, and those moments, those cherished moments, you can't buy that type of awesomeness. You just can't buy it. And of course, the youngest child always gets to be held up to put the star on the tree. So my daughter Merida, that torch has been passed from Noah to Merida now, so she's putting the star on the tree. It's a wonderful tradition, and we're wanting to start at least one more this year, and I'm going to be thinking hard about that in the next few weeks so that we can work that out and start a brand new Christmas tradition, and maybe add a new one every year so that by the time a few years have passed and the kids are getting ready to go to college, we've got this whole list of traditions that we can choose from that we can do every year that keep us integrated and working through the Christmas season, just joy after joy, memory after memory, so that we can soak in that Christmas holiday season and festivities. And I am just psyched for it. So yeah, it's early October. I'm recording a show about Christmas, but I think it's important because I'm a Christmas guy. I love it. And so to me, the last quarter of the year is when I can start gearing up for it. I've turned on the engine. I maybe haven't revved the engine very high right now, but it's getting there. I'm starting to, and we're going to be smoking with gas here pretty soon with the Christmas season. So that's how to keep Christmas on a budget and how to do Christmas without breaking the bank in ways that I've thought about. There are plenty more. If you go on the internet, you can find website after website, article after article about how you can use or do Christmas on a budget. So if you really want to, it's out there for you, and you don't have to break the bank this Christmas. You can have a season that you can celebrate and have joy and not stress if you just put your mind to it and don't wait till the last minute. So my week, this past week, just like the past few weeks, has been completely filled with etching and coming home and resting. And that's pretty much it. I've been in Elberton all week this week. Last week, I didn't have to travel. This week has just been filled with etching, so there's really not much more to say about that. But I do want to give you a positive review this week before we go. And here's this week's positive review, and it's a podcast that I've found called Stuff You Should Know. The Stuff You Should Know podcast with Josh and Chuck. I should know Josh and Chuck's last names with as many of the episodes as I've listened to here lately, but sadly I do not know their last names. I just know it's Josh and Chuck. Stuff You Should Know podcast is another one of these podcasts that kind of is an explanatory podcast for interesting stuff. It doesn't have to, it's nothing that is really going to rock your world as far as cutting edge stuff. It's Like, one of the most interesting ones I listened to recently was What's the Deal with Stradivarius? And it went, these guys, in a comical way for one thing, they're very conversational and comical. They have great personalities and great chemistry with each other, and they just research a topic, any topic. This happened to be Stradivarius and what makes the Stradivarius violins so exceptional, and they went into deep detail about it. Each episode is usually from 45 minutes to an hour, in that ballpark, and you can get in-depth detail about whatever they're talking about. Again, it could be anything. That one was What's the Deal with Stradivarius. Another one they recently did was What's the Deal with Chiggers. If you've ever had chiggers, you might want to listen to that. All of the myths you've ever heard are wrong, and you find out why on that podcast. And they've got so many different topics, years and years of topics. You can listen to these podcasts for a long, long time and never listen to the same one twice. So I want to give that as this week's positive review. It's the Stuff You Should Know podcast with Josh and Chuck. It's from the HowStuffWorks.com website. So go there, look at it, and tell me what you think. If you have some information or some feedback you'd like to get back with me, here's how you do it. You can get in touch with me via email at feedback@michaelblackston.com, and also leave a voicemail at 706-408-7456. That's 706-408-7456. You can check out the Road Noise Podcast website at that web address, roadnoisepodcast.com, and you can get to iTunes and all of the social media just by buttons right there on the website. So do that for me. Leave me a rating and review on iTunes if you so choose. And other than that, in episode 53, not sure what I'm going to talk about, but I hope it'll be interesting to you. Until then, I have missed my turn on my exit. Now I've got to turn around and go back the other way. That's okay. I really don't have a time frame that I've got to be there, so I've got a little time. Anyway, we'll talk to you next time. Thank you once again for sitting in the passenger seat, learning to live life 1 mile at a time.